The world already sees your light. It's time you do too. Find out how right now. Welcome to the Midlife Reinvention Podcast, a podcast helping women in career and life transitions achieve clarity on their next steps so they can transform uncertainty into an energizing next chapter. I'm your host, Kavita Ahuja, and the founder of It's My Time Now Coaching. If you're wondering what's next in your career or life, you are in the right place. Through solo and guest episodes, you'll gain practical tips, tools, and inspiration to help you uncover blocks, gain confidence, and be, do, and have what you want. I rediscovered myself after the age of 50, and I know you can too. It's my time now to help you do just that. I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive in. In today's episode 201, we're moving onwards and upwards and celebrating more than a milestone. We're exploring how to truly own your power during career and life transitions, and this episode is for you. In this episode, you'll discover a confidence-building exercise that reveals how others truly see you, a clear understanding of how the timeless principles of communication work, and reflective questions to help you uncover your Ikigai or your reason for being. So continue listening for powerful insights and inspiration on how to make your own reinvention possible right now. Hi, my friend, and welcome back to episode 201 of the Midlife Reinvention Podcast. That number really feels surreal to me to actually say it out loud. 201. Over 200 episodes of conversation and reflection and reinvention. And if you're here, whether it's your first episode or you've been along the ride since day one, thank you so much. This podcast wouldn't have existed without you, and I truly mean that. In our last episode, number 200, I reflected on my own journey and how far I've come since launching this podcast in 2021 with no experience and just really a deep desire to support women like you through your career and life transitions. And that episode was about gratitude and about honoring how far we've come. But today, in episode 201, I want to do a couple of things. First, I'd love to celebrate that milestone with more intention. And second, I want to remind you that the journey doesn't stop here. We keep on going and we keep evolving. And I'd really love to weave in some of the insights from my recent podcast guest, the incredible Jane Hansen. Jane is an Emmy Award-winning journalist who turned communication and reinvention coach. And she shared some great wisdom on the podcast around confidence and presence and perception, which I'd love to revisit here. So, as I've mentioned before, when I started this podcast, I really had no idea, no blueprint at all. I didn't know how to record or edit or even promote myself, let alone the podcast. But I started anyway, and I listened and I learned and I connected with one person and then the next. And I followed that whisper inside of me that says, it matters, this matters. And that whisper, that's what I want you to really listen to, and I encourage you to today. Jane said something really important that stayed with me, and she said that we don't perceive ourselves the way others perceive us. In fact, women often see themselves as 30% less than they really are. That number is pretty heartbreaking if you think about it, and it's familiar. I've lived that, and chances are so have you. But what Jane suggested was simple and powerful. Ask 5 people, to describe yourself or describe you in 3 words, and you'll likely be surprised by their answers because they'll see your strengths more clearly than you do. And that will give you the confidence to listen to that whisper inside of you. And so the takeaway here is the world already sees your light. It's time you do too. So Jane and I also spoke about perception, and she made the point that while first impressions matter, it's your inner validation that keeps us going. Yes, your presence, how you speak, how you hold yourself, how you show up, it really matters. It does create connection and trust. But if you don't believe in what you're doing, that will come through also. When I left my corporate job, I had to rebuild my sense of self. And I always had been kind of playing a supporting role, giving, organizing, showing up for everyone else. But when I finally asked myself, what do I really want? And I allowed myself to answer that question, I started to come alive again. So my invitation to you is this. If you've been running on autopilot, if you've been living by someone else's definition of success, pause and ask yourself, what do I want now? And don't be afraid of what comes up, because that's the beginning of reinvention, and you have every right to be there. One of the other valuable parts of my conversation with Jane was around communication, because whether we're navigating a career shift, launching a new business, or simply showing up for ourselves more fully, how we communicate matters. She reminded us that communication is built on three ancient but still relevant principles from Aristotle. One is ethos. Are you relatable and trustworthy? Number two is logos. Are you clear and easy to understand? And number three is pathos. Do you make people feel respected, valued, and seen? These three ingredients make up true authenticity, not just being real, but being effective in the way we connect with others. And a big part of that comes from really active listening. When people feel heard, they feel respected, and that's when trust is built. As someone who's coached many women on confidence, I couldn't agree more that confidence isn't about being loud. It's about being clear, grounded, and connected to your values. And when your confidence is anchored in your why, in your reason for being, everything shifts. And that brings me to one of the core concepts I speak about often here, and I take my clients through, which is a process of determining your Ikigai. And as you may have heard, Ikigai is a Japanese concept that means reason for being. And it's really the intersection of what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. When I first left my corporate career, I had to rebuild from the inside out. I did feel very unmoored and unsure and overwhelmed. But when I discovered Ikigai, something clicked. I realized that my purpose wasn't about replicating past successes, but it was about aligning with who I was in that moment and what I could offer to the world. So for many of you who are navigating transitions, whether they're career, relationships, or other, even your health, Ikigai is really a powerful transformational process and framework to explore. You can ask yourself, what lights me up? What are my natural talents? How can I serve others in a way that feels fulfilling? And what's something people would value and pay me for? And your answers are not going to appear overnight. But when you sit with these questions and really deeply reflect on them and take small steps towards alignment, you'll notice something beautiful happen. The energy builds and a sense of kind of rightness starts to happen. And that's your Ikigai calling you. And when you're connected to it, you no longer chase purpose. It kind of starts pulling you towards it. So we also talked about what it means to redefine success. Both Jane and I came from successful corporate backgrounds, and yet when we transitioned into entrepreneurship and new careers, we really had to relearn what success looked like and felt like. Jane shared that freedom was the most valuable shift for her, which was the ability to own her own time and make her own decisions and create meaningful impact on her terms. And I felt the same way. Of course, I had moments of fear and doubt, but I also felt something I hadn't in many years, and that was ownership. And with ownership comes alignment. Alignment with your values, with your energy, and with your purpose. And this is what I talk about when I guide women through finding their Ikigai, because when we find the intersection of our strengths and passions and our contributions and our values, we really do find that energy and that flow and all the possibility that comes with it. And then when that happens, something really beautiful unfolds. Opportunities show up that you wouldn't have imagined, and people show up. And the world really does begin to respond to your alignment. I've seen it in my own life. I've seen it in my clients' lives, and I know you can too. So here we are, my friend, at episode 201, a new chapter. So what's next for me? I'll continue to show up for you throughout this podcast every week. I'll continue coaching women like you through transitions and helping them rediscover their power and purpose. I'll continue writing and speaking and, yes, working on that book. But I would love to hear, most importantly, I'd love to hear from you. How can I support you in this next chapter of your reinvention? If you are wondering what's next, or you want to know how to realign your life and career, let's just have a chat. You can explore my website at itsmytimenowcoaching.com. You can reach out to me at Kavita at itsmytimenowcoaching.com. Or you can link through my social channels, whether that's LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram. And let's just explore your next steps together. As we step forward from episode 200 into this new season, let me just leave you with 3 reminders. I want you to take home with these 3 reminders. The first is that you're not alone. Many women are walking the same path, and we're doing it together. The second is that midlife is not an ending. It's your time to begin again, fresh, with clarity and with courage. And number 3, you get to define your own success. You get to choose your next chapter. So, my friend, let's keep going, let's keep growing, and let's keep showing up for ourselves and for each other. And until next time, I wish you all the love in the world. And stay confident, stay focused, and you've got this.